Kia ora Rotorua. Ahead in tonight's bulletin, Mayor Kevin Winters says he wants iwi board members for the new CCO. Police are looking to identify a man with a limp which was likely caused by his falling from a balcony as he fled a crime scene. And rugby league is to be taking part in the Ames Games for the first time. Those stories and more coming up next on City News. Rotorua Mayor Kevin Winters says the 5 board members of the Council-Controlled Organisation, or CCO, provide Rotorua with a very high-powered, well-connected and hugely experienced resource. The CCO board members are Chair John Green, Warren Parker, Jane Nees, Michael Barnett and Tony Marks. They're tasked with driving the district's future economic development for the next 3 years. Mr Winters says there are still 2 more appointments to be made to the board, and he's hoping iwi will nominate candidates.
The applications that came in for the CCO to be directors for our new council-controlled organisation. So we've appointed 5, but there's still 2 vacancies there, and we really want to get buy-in from iwi, Te Arawa. So there's 2 vacancies there. I'm going back to Te Arawa and saying, because they're a big economic driver.
Representation, don't
Correct,
yeah.
Yeah. So there's still two vacancies, but we've got the 5 directors now who can start the process of appointing a CEO and staff and going forward.
And I talk in City News tonight to Mayor Kevin Winters about the lakefront development proposal.
Pukeroa Whara have done a lot of work behind the scenes to redevelop the lakefront. Currently where Queen Elizabeth Hospital is, Wharearaha and right round to the Prince's Gate.
To the vacant land.
Yes,
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So they're doing a lot of geotechnical work as well, because it's a very tricky environment down there. And so they've brought it to us very early because we want to make sure the zoning is right in our new district plan that we're going to publish in August this year. So you've got to have the zonings right so that those sort of developments can happen. So they brought us in early, which we encourage them to do.
This is your management team and everybody involved.
Senior managers and councillors. We've had a briefing about 2 weeks ago from them. So we're really encouraged by this whole redevelopment of the lakefront. It's prime real estate.
Police are looking to identify a man with a limp which was likely caused by his falling from a balcony as he fled a crime scene. The incident occurred close to midnight on Saturday in Turner Drive after a 19-year-old female woke to find a man in her home. She immediately alerted another occupant of the house, and the offender ran off from the address, falling from a nearby 3-metre high balcony. A police dog tracked him to Leslie Avenue, where there were approximately 180 people at a large party. Police are keen to hear from anyone from that party who saw an injured man or with a noticeable limp around the relevant time. And information can be provided, of course, anonymously via Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. Maori MP for Waiariki Te Uraroa Flevel has expressed the concern of his party associated with the Local Government Act 2002 Amendment Bill, which had its first reading in Parliament last night. Mr Flevel says the main amendment bill seeks to set benchmarks for council's performance in respect of income, expenditure and prudent debt levels. However, he says he knows that Maori representation simply won't feature in the proposed benchmarking exercise, despite the fundamental importance of decision-making for mana whenua at local level. He says his party supports any action to curtail reckless financial management and stem the tide of rising local body debt, but it must be for the improvement of the people. A group of local fashionistas are hitting the streets wearing their versions of steampunk. Karen Hansen from Steam City Steampunk says that steampunk fashion trend is inspired by the Victorian era and has really taken off in the last few years.
It's not actually that new. It actually started arising as a subculture in the 1970s, and since in the last few years it's really started exploding through New Zealand. I'm seeing it now in mainstream fashion. If you look at what all the girls are buying in Glassons, Pagani, it's all Victorian inspired, which is the steampunk coming through. Steampunk is best described as neo-futuristic. So you think Victorian and you think all the technology that they had in the day, and H.G. Wells, Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, airships, Kraken, basically how life would be in modern times if the Victorian technologies and fashions had continued down that path.
Rotorua District Council is offering another free driver directions course to young drivers wanting to get valuable driving skills and practice on a safe off-road environment. The free course, which would normally cost in excess of $300, is on Tuesday the 3rd of July at Taupo Motorsport Park. Driver directions involves qualified driving instructors and police taking participants through practical driving skills accompanied by their parents and caregivers. RDC Road Safety Coordinator Jody Lawson says driver directions is a valuable opportunity for teenagers on learners and restricted licences to practice their driving skills. There are limited spaces available on the course, so those wanting to participate should register with Jody Lawson at the council as soon as possible. Drivers must have a learner or restricted licence, own their own car and have a parent or guardian with them at all times when they take the course. In sport tonight, the Western Bay of Plenty is preparing to host over 5,500 students for the September Ames Games. The sporting championships give Year 7 and 8 students an opportunity to compete against the best of their age across 16 different sporting codes. This year, Rugby League joins the list of 16 sports, which includes traditional team sports such as basketball, football, hockey, netball and rugby sevens. Upper Central Rugby League General Manager Marcus Reynolds says he's keen to see Rugby League take part in the games.
First year, so we've got 12 schools hit our target, so we're going to run it in 2 pools of 6 and really make it a really fun experience. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to bring hopefully Stacey Jones down from Auckland to run a bit of a sort of post-game thing with all the kids. Yeah, clinic with the kids. Yeah, like more an interactive clinic for the kids and the parents, and then we're going to run a special coaching session for all the coaches and parents that want to become coaches. So just add some more value off the field as well as on the field.
To the weather now, Rotorua, brought to you by Trevor Robson Signs and Graphics Limited. Tonight, fine weather with light winds, an overnight low of -1. It's going to be another chilly one. Tomorrow, Thursday, fine and frosty, light winds, a high of 11 and a low of 0. The outlook for Friday, fine and frosty, light winds, a high of 12 and a low of 2. To the marine forecast for Lake Rotorua, southerlies to 5 knots, low waves and fine conditions. And of course, if you missed any of tonight's bulletin, you can watch it again by going to tvrotorua.co.nz and click on View Latest City News. Or to view what's on in our city, go to Upcoming Events. And still to come in tonight's program, Alan Solomon finds out about a community basketball tournament on this weekend. Carly Jackson talks to Tim Meyer about last week's Foreign Affairs Trade Conference. And I talk to Mayor Kevin Winters about the proposed developments at our city's lakefront.